Here we go. We are back. So thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time here, again, this will be available as a replay. So if you're catching us not live, leave a comment down below. If you're catching us live, make sure you leave a comment in the live chat. This is where I can answer your questions. So if you have anything scan related or anything else that you want to ask me, you can go ahead and leave those in chat. For those live, I'll do my best to answer those right here, right now. And for those of you on the replay, I will usually lead off the next month's Q&A session with your questions so we can kind of build up a buffer while people are trickling in and leave me their questions. So with that being said, still waiting for questions to come in on the chat. So if you have anything for me, let me know. It's been a crazy month here over in the Scanner School Shack. Right now you can see behind me over here that computer has just rebooted again. My Windows computer that I run, or I was running my live feeds on, that I was running all of my SDR, that runs my weather station, and is pretty much the heart and soul of the scanner and the radio operations of my shack. Went through an update, another Windows 11 update, and once the update happened, it now likes to run for about 2 days, and then it wants to shut down. I do not know why it's happening. I know I have an issue with a onboard RGB driver, which I never had before, so I have to work through that. And hopefully that resolves the issue, but something is not allowing that computer to stay on all day. I haven't gone through any of the system logs yet, but yeah, that's something. The other thing that's been happening here at the shack while I'm waiting for questions to come in is that I was sick for a week, so we weren't able to work on any content for a week. And then following that week, I left for a cruise for 9 days. And what's really cool about the cruise is that it gave me some time to sit down and do nothing, which for me is very difficult to do. So what I ended up doing is, I think on day 6 or day 7 of the cruise, I broke out my SDR with my laptop, and we did some hunting. We went and tried to see what we can listen to on the boat. So that's going to be a whole separate podcast or a video episode that will go into that. I've actually I've got some good stuff. I'll just put it that way. We'll just tease it as having some good stuff. Another thing that homework for you guys. It's spring. Spring is right around the corner here in the U.S. And that means it's time to open up your cans of antenna wax to polish the, make sure that RF comes in and everything else bounces off the antenna, and armor all your coax cables, right? No, I'm just kidding around. But it is a good opportunity to take inventory, right, of anything that has happened over the last couple months on the outside part of our equipment. So make sure that all your antennas are still up, all the elements are there, nothing has fallen off of them, that all your coax is in good condition, no cracks, no weathering, your connectors are tight, your grounding is still in place if you've grounded anything, even the entry points, right, to where coax might enter your house. If you just poked holes in your house or your barn or your garage or whatever it is, make sure that those are still water and weather tight, right? Make sure you've got a good amount of silicone or weather, whatever it is you put on there. On a lot of my stuff, I actually put some outdoor outlet boxes, and again, we can highlight that in another video. And I've put basically a breakout connector on either side, or a barrel connector, bulkhead connector, whatever you want to call it. So I can easily unscrew and take a look at everything. Yeah, it adds a little bit of loss on there, but I like that because if anything breaks on one side or the other side of the coax, whether it be on the home side or the outdoor side, I'm not rerunning everything brand new. I can patch that in pretty well. So it's a good opportunity right now to just take inventory, to take notice, and start creating a list of action items. Like over here, I want to swap out one antenna. I want to replace actually swap out one, add another, and maybe put up another one or two. We'll see how that goes over here. My wife will be laid up from surgery for a couple of weeks, so I'll be able to run around outside without being caught. Just saying. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the chat and see what we got going on here. Chris is saying he's going to Los Angeles in March. And what can you hear in LA? Motor City Man, good morning. Thank you for getting me back in a hobby. Hey, thank you guys too for dragging me back in too. I've been away for a couple months while I was going through some cancer stuff, and it's definitely gonna be back. So there's a lot. There's a lot here. There's a lot I want to catch up on. Dude, Blackheart, I need to upgrade my scanner. The one I bought in the 90s, lost in trust for a while or interest in a while. I want to get back into it. What do you recommend for a base scanner? Dude, if you can put in the chat where you're located, we'll go through all that right now. Chris and Jim is all good. And Dale saying, yes, it's alive. It's live. And then we'll go through and we'll edit this. And then when it won't be live, all the issues will be removed from the stream. All right. Chris, you're going to go to Los Angeles. Go ahead and take a look at that. And hopefully I don't lose anything when we do that. Let's see. We'll go over to here. And I'll wave to the camera. Yeah, okay. It looks like we're still going here. And I can see that I still got some audio coming through on the EQ. So let's go ahead to radio reference. We're going to browse. You know what? Let's make the screen larger so you can see it easier. Hopefully you can see it easier. Let's go to California. And we will go to LA. Let's see where that is. Los Angeles. And we'll go to browse. All right. Waiting for the map to load. It's a good time to stop and have a cup of coffee. Oh, it's good. All right. So the first thing we'll notice right here, when we're looking at the radio reference database, let's make that even larger here. Let's see if we can even make it even bigger. There we go. Beautiful. So we are going to want to look at this LA Regional Interoperable Communications System. So what we're going to do is we'll right-click on that and open a new tab. So we've got it ready. And what do we have here? This is basically County Sheriff Dispatch. Beautiful how it is basically FM narrow, no encryption, UHF T band. If you don't know what the T band is, that's the UHF TV band. So anything above channel 14 is considered UHF T band, I believe. Is it that area? I know we're going back in the old school days. You had the top and the bottom, top and the bottom dials. The top one went from 2 to 13. The bottom one went from like 14 to 80 something, and you had to put the top one on UHF to do the bottom ones. And yeah, so 43 is part of the UHF T band, and of course, here we go ahead and date myself on that one. Yes, and so basically, right now, any scanner, any I'd say modern scanner that was developed after the T band whole thing would be good. So don't use any radios from any scanners from the 70s. You know, late 80s, early 90s would be good for this one. Tactical, we are looking again at FM narrow. That's beautiful. Star Attack, special events. Oh, one thing we want to look at over here, right, is the type. So RM, right, remote or mobile, right. You want to look at too that these may be repeated, which is beautiful. You can always also double check that by looking for show repeater inputs. And if we bring that back up again, if we see an input and an output, we know that it's not a simplex or a point-to-point direct communication. So again, we've got, these are all repeaters, right? We're just verifying that. So far, so good. Any radio you want to buy, beautiful. You can listen to anything we've talked about so far, right? This county sheriff stuff. Let's see, court systems, custody operations, community colleges, others. We've got some law attack and emergency ops, some encrypted, disaster communications. Looks like we've got some amateur radio repeaters in here. Fire and EMS for the counties, looking beautiful. FM non-encrypted, repeated. You got a lot of stuff you can listen to here. Old countywide, nope, we won't look at that. Fireground communications. Man, and we're only at the top. Look at this. We're only up here. So we got a lot here. All right, let's look at the trunk system. Trunk system, we've got, see, side on wheels. Love that. Simulcast. Simulcast. So we are looking at an issue with simulcast on some of these sites. So you may want to look at maybe carrying an SDS 100 or 200 with you, depending on if you can isolate a particular transmitter site. But what do we have here? Encryption on the district attorney. County fire, again, P25, looking great. EMS, interoperability, dispatches, lifeguards, county sheriff, dispatch on the P25 system, no encryption until we get to Major Crimes Narcotics Aerial Bureau. Investigators are encrypted. But it seems like this will be a great trip for a scanner radio. I'm a little jealous. Um, a lot of the tactical stuff here, it looks like it's going encrypted. Interoperability is not encrypted. We're just speeding through this now for the sake of time. Here's all your municipalities and cities and towns. We're looking good through all this stuff. Beautiful. I think you'll have a great trip. You'll listen to fire, police, EMS, anything like that. Let me see if I can get back over to the headshot only. That's right. Still got my microphone. Looking good. So I think you'll be good. I think it'll be a really, really good trip for you. And that was Chris. Enjoy your trips. Have a safe trip. Let's see if we got any more questions in here. Ronnie is looking for either getting a digital scanner, a good one for your area that went digital, so you're afraid of buying a new one without going encrypted. You have, Chris, you're all set then. STS 100, beautiful. Rodney, put your city, county in the chat so that we can take a look and see exactly what you'll need and tell you how much you have to spend. So here's a great example, right? County goes digital. My county's digital. And we have stuff that is phase one. We've got stuff that is encrypted. We have stuff that is simulcast out here, right? And it all depends what it is that we want to listen to. So if for example, I want to listen to something that was encrypted, I'm out of luck, right? That's just all there is to it. I'm out of luck. I don't have the encryption key. I'm not going to get the encryption key. But if I have a scanner radio that supports P25 phase one, okay, so now we're going a little old here because most of the radios today support phase two. I can, or I should be able to, listen to those phase one talk groups as long as my scanner radio can receive the P25 traffic channel, right? So maybe it's simulcast, but maybe it's going to work pretty well because I can isolate everything. This means that I can really go back in time and reach a radio that maybe nobody wants anymore, and I could save some money. Case in point, a BC 296D, a BC 78 and 796D, a Pro 2096, Pro 96. I hate those two radios. I wouldn't recommend them. Even a Whistler 1065, something like that, right? That just does P25 phase one. You could find them on eBay for a fraction of what anything new goes for, because everybody wants now the simulcast and the phase two and the newer stuff that's out there. And just mental note here, we have to take a sidebar here and talk about Whistler. So it's really going to depend, Rodney and Dude, where you're located. Rodney, I see you put your state in there. Great, thank you so much. We'll loop on that in a second. But the point here is that you may not need to buy that $600 scanner radio. It all depends on where you are, what the systems are that are around you, and based off of that, then what you want to listen to is what it is you have to buy. So with that, let's talk about Whistler. So the last couple times that we met, Whistler was kind of in this funky state, right? We've talked about this a couple of times now. So the last time that we all met, Whistler was closed for business. Their webpage, the first time around, the webpage wasn't working. Second time, the webpage was at a static screen. That was a Shopify store. And now if you go to the Whistler website, you'll see that they've relaunched. The website is back and open again. And I've also heard that all of their software is now able to pull the database again and then update the database from Radio Reference through their servers to your radios using EasyScan software. Whereas before, you had to just download the database and self-apply it and then force the stuff to happen. So what I would like to show you is, I'm just going to go over to my website here. Let's see, Whistler Group. And hopefully we don't lose anything in the process. So I'm going again, wave at the screen. Yes, I can see that I'm still not frozen, and I have audio. But it says right here, look at this. We are back. Well, what does that mean, right? We are back. Shop now. So, okay, coming soon. It looks like, all right, they're redoing their store, right? This is all good, right? This is all good. But let's look at the Whistler history. This is where things can kind of get a little exciting. So it talks about the history of Whistler Group. right? And then how Whistler bought it from GRE. And now the newest thing here is that this new LLC that was basically just spun up in the last couple of weeks and early months, right, is Galiad LLC, Galiad Products LLC. I don't know what that is, but Whistler Group in 2025. So basically, they've bought the rights, the access. What is this? What is this new LLC? Is this a way of Whistler shedding debt and then being restructured? Is this a way of somebody buying all the proprietary rights and the inventory and the branding and everything else from Whistler Group, who bought it from GRE? I don't know. Does this mean now that we are going to see new products from Whistler? Again, I don't know. My crystal ball, my daughter asks me all the time, what are we doing today? What are we doing tomorrow? What's happening? I don't know. My crystal ball. It's been in the shop forever. But this is good. This is good news. This means that, again, Whistler is in some way, shape, or form, Whistler is back. It means that product will or should flow from their warehouse back out to the end third party, right? The brick and mortars or the e-commerce stores to Amazon, so that we can go ahead and purchase these. Hopefully that means that their repair facilities are open again. But this is good. This is good. This is why I wasn't saying that Whistler was dead, that things were horrible, right? I was holding hope. And just, again, seeing that the website had come back, at least there was a landing page, showed me that the bill was paid. We'll see what happens, right? We will see what this means. But it's a good sign, right? So let's just, the scanner radio gods were shining down on us on this day, and let's leave a little sacrificial radio by the altar for them, right? Something that we'll leave a Baofeng by the altar for them. We'll sacrifice one of those. All right. Let's see. Rodney is in Thurston County, Washington. So let's see what kind of radio that he'll need over there. And to refresh myself, he is looking for a digital scanner. So we'll go back to the radio reference database. Again, I'm going to wave at the screen. Yes, I'm not frozen. I can still see my levels. And we'll go back to U.S. We will go to Washington. We will go to Thurston County. Again, I don't know where that is in a map, so I'm just going to cheat, and I'm going to use the drop-down menu. We're going to browse. All right, so let's take a look here. Fire and EMS, VHF FM. We've got this Airlift Northwest Dispatch. That's VHF P25. Okay, so here's the first thing we want to say. If you don't want to listen to this, any old scanner that you can get off the shelf right now, so far so good. SR30C, the BC125AT, so far great to go. If you want to listen to something like this, you can pick up an old school P25 scanner that we just talked about before. But let's keep looking. Let's keep plowing through here. Sheriff dispatch, good to go. Local government, good to go. Municipalities, Rainier, emergency management and public works. Okay, DMR UHF. What does this mean? Well, this means that if you want to listen to this, you're going to need a DMR radio. If you're looking for a DMR radio, so far so good. We can get into the brand new Uniden radios, which is I'm going to cheat. Which is the BC160DN, BCD160DN, sorry, or the 260DN. Those will not do trunking, will not do P25, but will do DMR. So you can see we got to kind of like work on this little matrix thing that I'd like to put together for you guys. Let's see. FM, more DMR for the buses, and schools. All right, let's look at these trunk systems. This is where kind of things hide on us. So we've got a Washington State Capitol Type 2 Smart Net system. That's an old school system. We've got Washington P25 Phase 2, Washington State Patrol P25 Phase 2, the Department of Defense. We have a DMR system. There we go. Thurston County 911 system, which is a Project P25 Phase 2 system. Okay, well, let's take a look at that one to start. So we've got Thurston and Yelm County, Yelm site. All right. Radio maintenance, these are all digital, low tac, public works, multi-dispatch. Fire dispatch. There we go. Fire attack. Law attack. Law dispatch. Yum, yum. Well, the good news is for you is that these don't say simulcast, and they don't say that they are encrypted, and they don't say that they're phase 2. So we are checking a lot of boxes here, which means the price point to get into a digital scanner is dropping for each one of these check marks that we're doing here. Let's just take a quick look here at Thurston County and see where the FCC call sign puts this. We have a tower, a tower, a tank, a tank, a tower, and a tower. Oh boy. So yes, this is a simulcast system, but you may have some luck with the simulcast here if you can isolate to just one tower. So if you're not driving around, or you can not use your outdoor antenna, and you can just use a good enough antenna just to get the signaling good enough, that'll help you out in the long run here. So with the simulcast, okay, you're at 650 now for an SDS 100, 200. But if you can get around that whole simulcast issue, right? You don't use an outdoor antenna. Don't use attenuate the signal or something like that, right? You may be able to drop it down to only getting a one transmitter site. And again, you'll eliminate the simulcast, any simulcast issues here. So I would say you could get in, again, depending where you are and what signals and how much of an issue simulcast is going to be for you. You can get in fairly cheap, I would say. So what we're saying is that if you can get by with a lower scanner that doesn't do simulcast, right? This brings your entry point down. So a WS 1065, even an old like 796D, 296D, those are old radios by Uniden. Even like a 996, a 325, a 396 may work well. Because again, even though it says it's a phase 2 trunk system, it just means that it's capable of having phase 2 talk groups on that trunk system. Everything here is a D, which means, I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm looking at. Everything on the screen is a D, which means that it is phase 1. If it was a T, as in Thomas, or TDMA, that's phase 2. All right, so you've got things working in your favor. The only issue I would say is simulcast. If you can isolate the simulcast, you're good to go. You're in a good situation with this. No encryption, phase 1. If you can get rid of the simulcast, you can get in for cheap. You can really get in for cheap on a digital system. Best of luck with you with that. All right, let's go back and go through some more questions here. We got Rodney. We've got that one. Motor City Man, what is simulcast, and why is it problematic? Great question. If you check out is it shorts I posted it to? I know I put it on TikTok. I know I put it on Instagram. Oh, maybe I did put it on Instagram. I don't know. I've got to go through this is part of what I'm doing right now, is I'm going through my catalog and I'm seeing what I didn't post and seeing what I have and seeing what I recorded and seeing what I didn't edit, and we're going to start putting all that out there now. What is simulcast? Why is it a problem? So the issue with simulcast is you've got multiple towers, right? And they're all in sync, and they all transmit the same thing at the same time. And it's digital, all right? So we've got 3 things going for us right here against us. Multiple sites in sync, transmitting digital, okay? And it's just physics. We have what's called propagation delay, and we also have refraction and reflection. And what that basically means is that it's the time that it takes for a signal to reach you, right, is the propagation delay. So from the 2 towers, one may get to you slightly faster than the other. I know this is a bad example of it, but if you can see that this finger and this finger finally overlap. And as you're driving, right, you're changing that propagation delay based on what tower you're getting closest to. And the issue is, and I don't know if you remember, if you're old enough, but remember, let's go back to our analog TV thing we talked about with the UHF T-band earlier in this session. Do you remember the days when you'd have band openings and you'd be watching the nightly news on your analog TV, and you'd get like this ghosted image, right? Off center, off to the side of the newscaster. You'd be watching a football game, and you'd see like a double superimposed image, on screen or something like that. So what's happening there is that you're getting some sort of a delay coming in. Now, in an analog world, we don't hear that, right? But we saw it on our TVs because the horizontal and vertical were off, right? Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's a good visual representation as to what's happening inside of your digital scanner. You're getting two signals. Yes, they have the same information in them, but they're out of sync. And when they're out of sync, your scanner cannot put the zeros and ones back together again, right? Well, I always say you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Now, that's a problem because if the checksum doesn't checksum, then it's a packet that's got to get dropped. When you drop too many packets, you can't put the digital signal back together again. The A to D to A converter can't take that digital and make it a analog signal. All right. In an analog world, we can have simulcast all day long. Our ears really can't hear it. But when you have zeros and ones in milliseconds, microseconds, right, it's a problem. So scanners like the SDS 100 and the 200, the Unication G5, G2, G3, G4, they work well in simulcast. Even your commercial two-way radios that are thousands and thousands of dollars work well in simulcast because they were built to operate in that environment, and they decode the signal differently. Your software-defined radio, your SDR, your SDS, software-defined scanner, right? They bring the signals in differently. They know how to analyze it, and they know how to put the packets back together again in the right format. Older scanners can't do that. A 325 P2 is a current scanner, but it doesn't support simulcast. It doesn't. The circuitry and the logic inside of it does not allow it to put back simulcast transmissions, and that is why it is a problem. Hopefully that answers your question. Thomas wants to know, are you going to do the Jones Beach Air Show live scanner stream? I'm hoping to be able to back up in line and do that. So, Thomas, what happened over here is, if you don't know, I went through a couple-year battle of stage 4 cancer. Let me just say, guys, if you go to the doctor, get checked out. If you don't go to the doctor, please go to the doctor and get checked out. It is a non-evasive test. In other words, every guy fears that one test at the doctor, and it is not a requirement. That's not how they found it in me. It was a simple blood draw, and they were checking for a whole bunch of other things, and my doctor says, well, we're supposed to check at 50. We check at 45 just to get a baseline, so that when you're 50, we know what your numbers are. And I wasn't even yet 45. They checked my numbers. I was elevated. I was outside the normal range, and then here we are. Almost 3 years to the day that I got my last chemo treatment. Actually, my last chemo treatment was 3 years to the day at the end of this month. Which is why for some of you who are sitting here scratching your head going, is this the same guy with the beard that was talking about scanner radios a couple of years ago? Yes, that's, I still make chemo treatments from 3 years ago almost to the day. Yeah. Anyway, going back. So during that whole window, I decided that I was going to redo my house. So now I've got this office here, right, which before was the man in front of the curtain. I reran some coax, but with everything going on, I haven't even hooked anything up. That's why the computer behind me is off. The radios over here are not turned on, and the live streams have been dead. But yes, long story short, I'm looking at reconnecting everything this spring. I'm hoping to get the live feed stuff back up. I haven't broadcast from the air show, but what I normally do is I'm about 20 minutes from Republic Airport with a lot of the planes staged, and I'm also about 25 minutes from Jones Beach. So it puts me right in the middle of both of those. The planes fly over my head all day long during Memorial Day weekend, and I usually broadcast it to YouTube with a live scanner stream and a snapshot of ADSB traffic so that we can keep track of where all the planes are, and that's how I do it. So, Thomas, yes, I am hoping that that is something that I bring back. And of course, if you need frequencies for that, that'll all be on my other website. So that'll be good there too. All right. What else are we doing here? What can I hear at Warner Brothers Studio in LA? That's a good question. Let's take a quick look. That should be under businesses. Let's hope I don't freeze. Here we go. We're still working. I know it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. So let's see. I'm gonna bet. You want to place bets, guys? Let's bet. Let's place a bet. Leave me a chat. Do you think Warner Brothers Studios are encrypted? I'm gonna say yes. Let's take a look. I haven't looked yet. And let's play along. Leave me a comment. Do you think they're encrypted or not? Let's see who's right here. So we go to LA. We're gonna browse. We're gonna go to businesses. Let's see if we got anything for businesses. Let's see. Let's try businesses. Private ambulance groups. Let's see if we can find them. Los Angeles County. Okay, so nothing's been identified. Let's go and do a search for FCC licenses and see if anything's licensed under Warner. And don't forget, Warner Brothers became Warner Media, which is part of Discovery Channel. What are we saying? Are we saying encryption? Oh, Dale knows. Look at that. No encryption, but VHF, UHF portable. So unless you're 200 feet away, I would say reception is slim. Beautiful, Dale. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I lost that bet. Wouldn't be the first bet and the last bet I lose, but that's pretty cool. All right. Excellent. Dale, you hit it. But let's take a look here. Let's see. FCC call signs. Oh, this one was canceled. This is what I love, though, right? All right, let's ditch this one for the sake of time because I want to get to some other questions over here. Hopefully I don't drop it off. Let's see. Oh, right, we're not frozen yet. I still have audio. Beautiful. This I always say, right? The secrets are in the searches. That's my favorite thing, right? Is going out and finding something. This is the first part of that, right? Let's go to the FCC. Let's look at radio reference. Let's see what's been defined and what we can find out here. And then go out in the field and confirm it or go out to search and see what we can find here. Dale's already done the homework for us. He knows. But it's great to search these things out. This is great. I love doing this stuff. Police fire, forest services for forest fires. Okay, what area though? Oh, there you are, Hayden, Indiana. Oh, okay, all right. Close to Spokane, Washington. All right, sorry about that. I don't know why I couldn't see that. All right, so and a good website to answer your other question is Radio Reference. It's the Mecca. All right, I'm just doing a little side shuffle here. We can instead of just waving to see if everything's working, jazz hands. Let's go to Radio Reference. We'll go to Browse. And Idaho. Did I say Indiana? Jeez. All right, Hayden, Indiana. Where is that? Let's see. Is that a county? No, not a county. Are you going to make me do some homework? Kootenai County and Idaho. Radio Reference is the best site to take a look at right now. We've got this P25 system, but there's still simulcast on UHF and VHF. And we got some French stuff here. Interesting. I know you guys are close to Canada, eh? Up there. And it looks like we got a lot of stuff here still on. Oh, we got some P25 dispatch digital. We have it's a mix mode too. It's analog and digital. All right. Well, good news for you right now is again you can get in with a cheap P25 scanner because if you just want to do conventional, even like a 785D with the card in it would work for you. We got some. Now using an encrypted NXDN digital system can monitor with existing scanners. All right, so we can't use that. But so far so good. For the most of the stuff here, it looks like we're okay with the P25 scanner. We've got this. All right, we got some simulcast. Again, we talked about simulcast before. And let's sort by county. We'll click on county. We'll sort by it so we can find where you are. And again, we got this Canfield Mountain, Mason Butte, and Killarney, and Mount Spokane. None of these say simulcast on it, so we got to assume there is no simulcast, but it could be simulcast. All right. Regional talk groups may be encrypted at times. That's what this lowercase e stands for here. This means that it is not encryption all the time, but expect encryption, right? It could happen. State police, right? Some encryption, some non-encrypted. Regional EMS. Department of Lands, Department of Corrections. Ada County. We're not looking so much at Ada County. Let's go down to York County here, which I can't find. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, you got some heavy duty encryption here on the law enforcement side of the house. Fire is non-encrypted, but again, it's tied into the some of the stuff is tied into the legacy conventional stuff. But again, what we talked about earlier is if you don't have encryption, if you don't have simulcast, you can get away with an older P25 scanner, such as a 29060, 79060, 1065. Again, because you got phase 1, non-simulcast here. It looks like you can 325P2 if you want something new, 996P2, 996XT even, an XT. If you want to save some money, go for a used radio, but I think you're doing okay on that one. Jim, the review on the BCD 160DN is coming. Not out yet, but you'll see one soon. Let's see. Thanks for the information. It's possible the digital system in my area go to encrypted. Yeah, well, that's Rodney. That's 100% possible. Can encryption be turned on? Absolutely. And all it takes is one event that law enforcement doesn't like, and they could turn off officer safety, or for whatever reason they want to turn it on for. I'm not going to get into my take on it right now because we're limited in time, and this is not the day, the time, or the platform venue for this, because I'm here to answer your questions and not to jump on a soapbox. But yeah, they could easily do that. All right, let's get back over to Radio Reference, and let's do the old side shuffle here. Yes, you can still see me, you can still hear me, and let's go over to Florida. And this may be the last question unless something sneaks in really quickly. Browse by county. Here we go. We're gonna browse. Alrighty, right smack in the middle. And we got some trunk systems. Ah, beautiful. This Osceola. I'm so bad with pronunciation on things. And you think, like, the big joke is if you're not from Long Island, you can never pronounce the names from Long Island because it's all these Indian names. So, tribal Indian names like Patchogue, which looks like it's Patachagui. Like where I'm from, Massapequa is nobody can spell it. There's a lot of different, a lot of names that are said differently than you'd think they were said where I'm from, and yet here I am, I can't pronounce anything. Even my last name. Yeah, it's a tongue twister. So anyway, so we got the county system over here, utilized by all agencies. We're just going to leave it at that. It looks like there's not much when it comes to conventional. So let's look at this county government P25 phase 1 system. All right, well, we know it's a simulcast system because it says so right here on the tin. You could tell what it is because of the way that it is, right? Okay, county sheriff is encrypted. So we've got 2 strikes against us. But all's not lost. We could still hit a home run here and knock it out of the park and save the game. All right, let's see if we can go for that walk-off home run. All right, well, here it is. County Fire Rescue is P25. It is phase 1. It is not encrypted. Fire Rescue, interoperability. Police is out of the question. Utility authority is not encrypted. Looks like we've got some miscellaneous stuff in here. County jail, school districts, and EMS. So as long as it's not law enforcement, it looks like you can listen to it. And again, that's the same situation that I'm in here locally is As long as it's not law enforcement, I can listen to it, and I'm still in the hobby. I mean, look, I mean, you're talking, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, and I'm still here. I mean, it really, it is what it is. That's really, you got to learn to listen to other things. The scanner hobby does not end just because something gets encrypted, and that's a whole nother day, a whole nother thing. Let's see what else we have out here. I want to see what else we got out in the county. Let's go back and see what else we got. So we've got multiple trunk systems. We've got federal. Let's see what we got for federal and businesses. Okay, so businesses, we've got towing, hotels, retail, utilities, and miscellaneous. All right, let's move on from that. Federal, we've got Homeland Security. That's not encrypted. It's P25. We've got medical and fire rescue dispatch. Okay, we got that. Trunk systems that are in the area, we got quite a bit of stuff here. The statewide law enforcement P25 system. We've got this older EDAC system, which I know that the agencies are leaving from. We've got this other public safety interoperable communications network. I don't know what you'd find on here, but let's take a look. Florida Power and Light, Florida Communications, Duke Energy. Right, so all this is all open too. So I'm saying there's more than just law enforcement. Yeah, law enforcement is something that we kind of get into scanning because we want to listen and hear what's going on. But again, if there's other stuff out here, right, that we can take a look at, and I'm going to eat my own words here because this is all encrypted, right? Well, mostly encrypted. But again, we can pull some stuff out of here. Let's see this Highlands 470 Connect Plus. This is a DMR network, and it looks like nothing is really but businesses. Looks like medical ambulances, businesses, school buses, tow trucks. Again, some of this can be of use to listening to. Florida Power and Light. Again, I love listening to the local power company here because it kind of gives you an insight as to where they're working and also what outages they might have. And again, this is TDMA. We do have some encryption on the plants, but out in the field it looks like we don't. What is this? This is a Phase 2 P25 Phase 2 system, so keep that in mind. Florida Communications is a LTR standard. We can't monitor LTR standard. And then this Duke P25. Interesting. That's a new logo. I haven't seen that before. I don't know what that means. I got to look that up. Can somebody in the chat explain what the T means? I must have missed that update. TDMA. Oh, maybe it's T. Oh, I know what it means. It's a TDMA control channel. That's what that means. But I remember reading that Duke was playing around with this P25 TDMA control channel. And it's really one of the first ones to roll out with this. And I don't believe there's a scanner radio out there yet to date that does TDMA control channels. But if you have a software-defined radio and you have a little bit of time, there's software that allows you to monitor the TDMA control channels. So all is not lost when it comes to this, but you just can't do it from a handheld radio at this time. Or not a handheld radio, a consumer-grade scanner radio at this time. So that's part of that. So I'm going to go over here and look at the some of the questions that we can answer really quickly from before we split for the month. As a reminder, guys, if you're on Patreon or if you want to help support us on Patreon, it's $5 a month. That gets you my videos, podcast episodes early before they publish early. But also, what's really great is that we do our own hangout. It's going to be this coming Tuesday evening on the East Coast. Of course, time rolls back earlier if you're not on the East Coast time. But it's a get together. We talk about the radio hobby. We talk about what's going on in the scanner. We do more of a behind the scenes as to what's happening here. It's a lot of real live Q&A. It's on Zoom, so it's a lot faster, and it's also available for replay if you can't join us live. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to help support us on Patreon, you can go to scannerschool.com/Patreon. In fact, there's probably a link in our YouTube channel that'll take you there. And it's if I can do this without breaking anything, I want to double click on this, and there we go. All right, so these are my Patreon supporters, and hey, look at that, I did it right. It's backwards. My left is your right. Your right's my left. So I see myself mirrored. But yeah, it's over there on this side. Okay, on my left. Those are my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys. Thank you for helping support us on Patreon. But like I was saying, we're gonna meet again this upcoming Tuesday, and we'll go through some more stuff. So if you want to join us again for that, you can by being a Patreon supporter. Let's see what else we have coming in here really quick that we can answer. Is there any other scanners that deal with simulcast other than Uniden? Whistler doesn't have anything currently that supports that. They were supposed to come out with the TRX 100, 200. That was killed years ago. The only other radio out there besides like a Motorola or a Kenwood, JVC Kenwood, that is a commercial grade radio, is a Unication. Now, a Unication pager, full disclosure, I sell Unication pagers over at eastcoastpagers.com. I'm going to talk to you not as a Unication dealer, but as a Unication and a scanner radio user. They work on simulcast environments. They're not scanner radios, so they are limited to what you can do on the fly. They're limited to what you can do on programming. With that said, you can't scan conventional and trunking at the same time. You can't mix trunk systems on the same scan list. And once it locks onto a site, it will not move from that site. So if for example, if your fire is on the 700 layer and your police is on an 800 layer, you've got to program them in a separate scan list and dedicate the site in that scan list and point the pager to where you want to go. It is the same price basically it's the same price-ish as a SDS radio, a little bit more, but it's a lot more rugged. It's smaller. It's got great sound on it. Only 16 channels on a conventional scan list, 64 talk groups on a trunk system. It does P25 phase 1, phase 2. And that's the other one that does simulcast. If you're interested in those, eastcoastpagers.com is my online shop where you can take a look at the Unication product. All right, let's move down here to the chat before we wrap up here. Jim, yes, it is great to be back. I feel better than I felt before I was diagnosed. So that definitely says something. And of course, I've lost about 40 pounds, so that also helps. Gilberto. Hey, Gilberto, how you doing? Good to see you on there. It's Osceola. Thank you. George is also from Long Island. Thanks for joining us, George. And Chris is saying that him and his dad will be staying at the H Hotel at LAX. So, Chris, enjoy your trip. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Again, you can catch us this coming Tuesday on our Patreon feed. So if you are a part of Patreon, you can meet us over there. We are working actively on new content. So you will start to see that dripping slowly on our YouTube channel and also on a social media channel. So if you don't follow us yet over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to us on those platforms. Yes, we're going to share a lot of the same stuff through all of them because we want to be where you are at. But if you don't join us at any one of them, pick your favorite one. We're going to start posting some stuff over there as well. And of course, the podcast will be returning. I've got help now. I've hired somebody to help me, which is great. So Hazel, when you edit this video, thank you so much for editing the video and for being there. And we have a lot we want to get out of there. Guys, thank you for spending your Saturday live with me here on YouTube. We'll do this again the first Saturday of April. For anybody catching us on our replay, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so that you know when we go live. You can leave me a thumbs up right now. There's a thumbs up. The algorithm will know that you want to watch more of my content. So even if you don't subscribe, it will be sent to you because YouTube knows that you've liked this video and you've liked this content. So that helps YouTube push more of this content your way as well. Guys, thanks again. We'll catch you live again we'll catch you again Tuesday on Patreon. We'll catch you the first Saturday on YouTube. And also make sure you subscribe to us so you know when the new content is coming out. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I got the right screen up. So when I say 7.3, I'm not sitting here fumbling and looking for anything. So, guys, great seeing you around. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you want to see from me. And catch you all live again next month. thanks for joining me, and catch you soon.